your health slip, catch a health tip for living the Nebraska good life. Tips for living the Nebraska good life.
Hi, my name is Lisa Franzen Castle, and I work for the UNL Panhandle Research and Extension Center out in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, and I am the Extension Nutrition Specialist there. My doctorate's in nutrition, and I'm also a registered dietitian. Thank you for joining us for this podcast series, My Pyramid Steps to a Healthier You, and this presentation is going to focus on the meat and the beans group. And this will be the purple slice of the pyramid. So what foods are included in this? This would be meat, poultry, fish, the dry beans or peas. Like I said, it shows up in the vegetable group, and it also shows up in this group too. The eggs, the nuts, and the seeds. And so I've got some pictures here. You think of poultry, you've got your eggs, your peanuts, salmon, and the nuts and seeds too. And so we think about selection tips. It's really important for this group. So you want to make sure that your protein choices are lean, and then also try to find ways to incorporate omega-3 fatty acids, because this has been associated with heart health. So you'd find this in things like salmon, trout, and herring. And also watch out for cholesterol. So this would be higher in things like liver, organ meats, as well as egg yolks. So it's not to say you can't have these things, but make sure you limit them and you're not eating them all the time. Also, processed meats and sodium. This is again where the food label is something that's really important for you to look at, because processed and packaged meats are going to have a lot more sodium in them. So it's important to make comparisons and try to choose a lower sodium option if you can. And also vitamin E, which is a really important antioxidant. You'll find that in sunflower seeds, almonds, and hazelnuts. So when we look at my pyramid recommendations for meat and beans, this again depends on your age, your gender, and your level of physical activity. So when we look at women, we start out at 19 to 30 years old. They have 5.5 ounce equivalents. And then from 31 on, it's 5 ounces. For men at 19 to 30, they start out at 6.5 ounces. Then they move down to 6 from 31 to 50, and 51 plus is 5.5 ounces. So when we go on to the next slide, you're going to find out that it doesn't take very much to get your daily recommendation for the meat and the beans group. And so sometimes, meat becomes a really important part of our diet, but we have to remember to incorporate all the other food groups too and find a balance with these groups. So when we look at meats, I want to talk specifically about the common portions and ounce equivalents. So one small steak, which would be like an eye round or a fillet, is 3.5 to 4 ounce equivalents. So for a female, 19 to 30 years old, 5.5 ounce equivalents, I'm over half of that just with that one small steak. Or a small lean hamburger, which is around 2 to 3 ounces, that's about half. For fish, like a can of tuna drained is 3 to 4 ounce equivalents, and then like a salmon steak is 4 to 6 ounce equivalents. And for nuts and seeds, 1 ounce of nuts or seeds is about 2 ounces equivalents. So why is it important to make lean or low fat choices from the meat and beans group? Well, although this group provides a lot of nutrients like protein, B vitamins such as niacin, thiamine, riboflavin, and B6, vitamin E, iron, zinc, and magnesium, there's tons of nutrients you get. However, there's health implications. So when we look at some of the meat that you could get from this group, they're going to be higher in saturated fats and cholesterol. And these two things are what can contribute to raising your LDL or your bad cholesterol levels. So again, it's important to look at the types of cuts you're eating. If you're eating packaged meats, to really look at those things on the food, on the ingredient list. And then the other thing we want to talk about is the MUFAs and the PUFAs. This is my shorthand. We've got monounsaturated fatty acids, which I call MUFA, and then PUFAs, which are the polyunsaturated fatty acids. So the unsaturated fats are the healthy fats. And you're going to find these in things like fish and nuts and seeds. So these can really help boost the healthy, unsaturated fats in your diet. And also tips to help make wise choices from this group is to go lean again with protein. So some examples from the beef group would be round steaks and roasts, top loin, top sirloin, and chuck shoulder and arm roasts. These are examples of leaner cuts of beef. And with ground beef, choose extra lean, at least 90% if you can. And pork. Some of the cuts that are better are pork loin, tenderloin, and center loin. So these are some examples of leaner cuts of meat products. And then we're going to talk about a few more. So for poultry, boneless, skinless chicken breasts and turkey cutlets. When we look at lunch meat, lean turkey, roast beef, ham are low-fat meats instead of ones with more fat. And even again, when you're looking at packaged meats, for ham versus turkey, turkey has a lot less sodium than ham does in it. So, and it's important to look at the brand, to look at the food list, to look at the nutrient label, because it's really going to be important to make those comparisons. So if you still want to eat the packaged lunch meat, try and do a healthier version of what you were doing. Also, trim away all of the visible fat if you can when you're working with cuts of meat. And also, preparation techniques really do matter when it comes to the health factor. So broiling, grilling, roasting, poaching, or boiling. These are all healthier methods than frying your meat. So even though you might be used to frying meat, it's really important to try different techniques that are healthier that you might like just as well. And you might not notice as much difference. So I know my husband and I broil and grill a lot of our meat because it's just it's easy and it's a lot healthier than frying it. So in summary for the meat and the beans group, the food labels really are your friend again, especially when you're working with packaged and processed foods. And remember to try to use leaner cuts, so go lean with your protein. And again, preparation techniques really do matter. So if you're used to doing something one way, really try and do some different techniques that can really cut down on the fat and the calories and something that you really like to eat. So thank you very much for watching, and remember to be brave and try and broaden your food horizons when it comes to your selections as well as how you prepare things.
Don't let your health slip.